All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Monday. Hope you had yourselves a great weekend, right? Are ready for, a refreshed and hopefully recharged trading day. Enjoyed the NFL playoffs. Put some work into your trading, did all that kind of fun stuff. And are motivated and set up for what should hopefully be a successful week here again. The one thing that I want to focus on here from the kind of start of the day is just a reminder that the language that we use to describe our problems becomes the goalposts under which we solve them. So if we spend all day telling ourselves that we're undisciplined traders, or that we're unprofitable, or that we're not good enough, or we're not disciplined enough, or too much of a gambler, or I'm this, I'm that, and we use this negative language basically to describe our trading problems, then all we're essentially doing is like lessening the blow for when we do make those mistakes, right? So if I tell myself I'm a gambler or I'm undisciplined as a trader, and then I have an event that would indicate, hey, I've been gambling or I've been undisciplined with my process, then all I've done is tell myself an hour earlier, right, or whenever I started using that language, that it's okay, right? I already know I am this. So when that event then happens, it's not a surprise, it's not disappointing, it's not this, it's not that. And I'm giving myself like an excuse essentially to have accomplished that, right? In the same way where if I tell myself I am undisciplined constantly, well then when I do something that is undisciplined, it's no longer a surprise, and I'm just softening the blow and making it easier to kind of continually repeat that habit or that pattern or that feeling. So what I want everyone to focus on is to be deliberate in their language that they're using to describe their trading. You are as unstoppable as you choose to be. You are as talented or as profitable as you choose to be. And it is a deliberate and specific and a non-accidental outcome for those who choose to fix their mentality and take that next sort of evolutionary step in their trading. So excellence is not a mistake. It is not luck. It is not anything along those lines. And if you're constantly describing your problems or your trading in ways that diminish your ability to be excellent, then all you're doing is you're setting yourself up to make the pain of not accomplishing your objectives more gentle. And when you commit to that sort of gentle path, you're 100% not committing to going after your goals and your objectives relentlessly. So I would challenge you all here this week to not give yourself that excuse, right? To not give yourself that easy way out here this week, and to think about the language that you are using to describe your trading, to describe your circumstances, to describe your problems, and to approach those ideas with a solution-based process, right? A solution-based framework, a solution-based language. What we have to understand as traders, is that we have to rely on being second or third order thinkers. So when I make this decision here right now, it's not necessarily that I'm going to get an immediate reaction or immediate win to this. And it's understanding that a disciplined outcome here today makes it easier for me to be disciplined again tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, right? Or 100 trades from now. So if we can't think how this action is going to impact my future actions before we enter a position or before we make a decision, then it doesn't matter, right, how we choose to behave, because we're always then one decision away from going on tilt. We're giving up our ability to be deliberate. And so I want to really stress, right, that being a second order thinker as a trader really starts with using the correct language and being deliberate in those choices before you ever start your trading day. And then once you start your trading day, to think about things from a solution-based mindset, from a improvement-based mindset, from a educational, how can I learn from this mindset, and then can go from there. So, hopefully everyone is having themselves a fantastic trading day, ready for what should hopefully be a good Monday. And with that being said, let's start mapping things out here, figure out what we want to do, and let's go from there. So first things first, right? Economic calendar here for Monday the 13th. We got Fed budget at 2 fine. Nothing too crazy here this week. So we'll see how that sort of shapes up and comes together here today. And hopefully, right, we can set ourselves up for a relatively smooth trading day. So what's the count here on ES? Let's start there. Yeah, 3 for 3 to the downside, spot on. And what about this pre-market price action is concerning? Yeah, Jack, spot on. So we're maybe a little bit concerned that a good chunk of this move here has happened in the pre-market, right? Monday morning. Yeah, everything's working fine on my end, Jody, so that sounds like a you problem. But yeah, big concern here, right? The move has happened here pre-market. Let's see basically what kind of level of enthusiasm shows up here today. But we don't need to be hyper aggressive here chasing this price action, where very often after a big breakdown, right, ends up being like a day of consolidation. So just be a little bit patient here today. All right, and Q, what's the count? Similar, not so similar, how do we feel? Yeah, same story, right? 3 for 3 here to the downside. So we've got trending price action here lower, right? So we're not looking for any bull case scenarios here today. And we're targeting 2,700, right? And then like down towards like 20,000. I don't know. Something like that would make sense. Cool. Any questions with ES and NQ? All right. CL, what's the count? I would say Friday's candle isn't weak. Yeah, a few people have already said that. Yeah. If it's not allowing you to place any trades, don't place any trades, right? If there's technical issues from the broker side of things, sit on hands, right? There's nothing you can do. So I wouldn't say that it's a weak 3 out of 3 here. I'd say it's normal. And I would say it's normal because the body of the candle, right, is larger than the wick. And so we're looking for a breakout continuation towards like 78.50. $79, $79.50, and then 80. And then let's see if we can get some nice continuation. Do we have a bear case here on CL? No, exactly. So bear case on the indexes, bull case on crude, and we'll see how it shapes up. All right, Apple, week 3 out of 3 here to the downside. Starting to possibly get into some swing trade territory here. Not quite ready. Which EMA is this? Yeah, okay, cool. So, I mean, one of my favorite quotes, I guess if you want to call it that, or most basic swing trading strategies is a Charlie Munger based idea. And his concept is if you just take the 10 strongest stocks in the market, maybe even more, top 100 stocks in the market, and you just buy them every time they touch their 200 EMA, which is that blue line in this context here on Apple, that you're going to significantly outperform the market long term. So that's essentially what I'm looking at from like a swing trading perspective. If something sets up or comes together within that context, that would be more or less what I'm looking for. So we got ways to go before that's in play. But yeah, just do like the boring, basic, non-sexy stuff well, and you'll outperform 99% of people. Okay, Tesla. Green candle, decreasing volume, gap down. So 1 out of 3 here to the upside. And we're looking for a pop still about 404 or a breakdown here under now 377. Okay, Microsoft, 3 out of 3 here. You're looking for a crack under 415. And that's it. Okay, Amazon. Not the strongest looking candle shape, but again, still a 3 for 3 here to the downside. And you're looking for a crack here under 216. Okay, AMD continues to sell off here significantly, well below its 200 EMA. It's looking for a 114 breakdown or reject inside yesterday's range. Now, for those of you who are looking to potentially swing trade some of these semiconductor names, right, to build up some momentum, I would say that NVIDIA would be the better name to trade than it would be to trade something like AMD. AMD has shown us a lot of general weakness compared to NVIDIA, even when NVIDIA was ripping. And so you don't want to be putting your like dip buying hopes on the weaker name in the sector, right? You want to be dip buying the strongest name, not the weakest. So if your objective here is to start to swing trade or to build up positions in some of those semiconductor names, focused on the strongest variants of them, not the weakest. Okay, NVIDIA, 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume. This is a big gap down, $6, give or take. So we're looking for a 130 breakdown here or a Bollinger Band reversal type setup. Not much changing, right, from Friday's plan here. Okay, Meta. Doji, increasing outlier volume, opening up in the middle. My least favorite type of candle shape, Doji with volume. I hate high volume indecision. Just feels like a Karen screaming at you. So we'll call this a weak 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume. And this is setting up as an inside bar. So I'm just going to go NA on this here today, right? I hate high volume indecision. It's the worst decision. Okay, Netflix 3 for 3 here to the downside as well. And we're looking for a breakdown here under, we'll say 832 or a retest of 840 and go. And I don't mean any offense with that term to anyone here. But, yeah, it just, you know, I've been spending too much time on social media. All right. And then Google here, 3 for 3 to the downside. And we're looking for a breakdown here under 190. And that's about it. And then VIX hanging out 21.32. Pretty aggressive, right? VIX handle here today. So we'll see how this thing shapes up. It's going to be an interesting week, right? High volatility. Should give us lots of opportunities, so we don't need to be super aggressive here, and we don't need to be like in a rush to make money, right? With a 20 VIX handle, we're gonna have opportunities and pretty big moves. Like the implied range here today is gonna be like 300-ish points on NQ and something like 80 points on ES. So that's plenty of range, right? We're not gonna need to catch that entire chunk to be able to make some money here today. And with that size of the range, right, we can also anticipate that we're going to get lots of tradable opportunities throughout the trading day. So one thing that I want to maybe focus on a little bit here in these high volatility environments or relatively high volatility environments is that price action likes to frustrate both sides before it tends to make that move, right? So, excuse me. So what I've noticed a little bit in my own personal trading is that when it's these kind of high volatility environments, I end up getting like faked out or taking a few small stops here to start the day by trying to be too aggressive too early. And today I'm going to try to counter that, right? So I'm going to try to slow down my process here a little bit, be a little bit more deliberate, and see how the market wants to basically create its personality before I'm willing to be very aggressive here today. Because of that volatility, I'm not going to need much to make a lot of money, and things are going to move pretty quick. But when the VIX is hanging out 21, 22, 25, right? Anything really above 20, you love to see fake outs and goes. And I don't need to like drain my mental capital chasing after that price action just because I'm too afraid I'm going to miss the move, right? So things are going to move really quickly here today, and they're going to make me feel as if I need to rush or to force things or to do X or to do Y or to do Z. And that's not the reality. I don't need to do that, right? I can be pretty patient. I can be pretty casual. I can be calm, cool, collected, and still make my money here today. And so that's going to be my emphasis. That's going to be my focus. That's going to be where I'm going to put my energy here today. And I'm going to really focus on controlling the variables I can control. And then from there, right, it's all about being as deliberate as I possibly can be. So being deliberate with my position sizing, being deliberate with my risk management, being deliberate with my entries, my exits, and not basically allowing like the greed and the rush of wanting to make money to trick me into making decisions that don't actually make me more profitable. So today, I'm behaving or trying to behave as best as I possibly can towards not what's going to make me profitable here today, but what's going to make me profitable next week, next month, next year, and trying to delay that gratification if something kind of comes up, right? So we're going to be focused, we're going to be structured, right? We're going to be methodical, and we're going to put ourselves in situations where it's easy to be green, and we're not going to allow the thrill of the market moving fast to trick us into decisions that simply don't set us up for success. So if I get action today here, awesome. I'm going to try to trade that as best as I can, right? So manage my losers, cut them quickly, right? Focus on the quality of my executions, and to just take whatever is available to me. I don't need to be greedy here. I don't need to be hyper aggressive. I just need to trade the price action that's in front of me. So let's have ourselves a great day here, team. We got a few minutes till market opens. I'm just going to make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day. And yeah, let's set ourselves up for a big one. So I'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll talk then. All right, team. So let's get ready here for what should hopefully be a successful trading day. Welcome, Algo. Hope you're having yourself a great morning, man. And let's get after it, right? So, yeah, let's see how the day shapes up here. Let's see how things kind of come together. And let's set ourselves up, right, to be nicely successful here this morning. Again, we do have a little bit more of a bearish bias and a bullish bias here today. Trending price action here to the downside. So we're either looking for a continuation narrative on our indexes, or we're going to look to play crude here to the upside if it does set up in that direction. You know, if we get like a huge amount of volume that tells us bull case, okay, maybe we can think about it and talk about it, but I'm not going to be hyper aggressive about that. I'm going to be looking for basically selling pressure here all day. And yeah, we'll see if that ends up being the reality here that we can take advantage of. Any questions, team? Fantastic. For whatever reason, I woke up, I didn't get a very good night's sleep last night. So apologies if my energy isn't where it needs to be. Too much adrenaline from playoff football yesterday. And so far, pretty choppy start, right? Pretty choppy. And not like a huge amount of volume. Yeah, Apex is having some issues, apparently. And guys, if you're having issues with the broker, right, that's broker side. Nothing I can do to help with that, unfortunately. Right, so if you are having issues there, open up your paper trader, practice today, right? Don't like make it where you need them to bail you out because you had some hanging orders that got like randomly filled or something along those lines. Right, you're gonna have tech issues. That happens. No, first profit target would always be the red lines. And then outside of those red lines, we'd go, you know, those round numbers. So no, first profit target will always be those red lines. No point thinking about exceptions too much. It just ends up getting too complicated. What I really want to try to avoid, Eric, is like analysis paralysis, right? So my objective here is just be consistent with my process on a trade to trade, decision by decision basis, so that I don't have to sit there thinking, is this time different, right? I just want to be doing the same thing every time, relying on the same technique, and just like building up that muscle memory. And then I kind of allow myself or set myself up a lot easier to be successful, because I don't have to sit there, think these like what ifs. So just hanging out for now, right? Still no reason to do anything here crazy. Maybe we have an opportunity for an increasing volume standard here on this upcoming 3-min candle. Not sure why my plan isn't loading up here. Did I screw something up? What the heck? Did I delete it? Strange. I don't know. Some trading view issues. I don't know. Okay, so we did get some increasing volume here, right? At 7:05. You'd like to see that. Give you just a bit more space, right? So I don't like how it couldn't hold under 700. So again, just going to wait this thing out. Maybe we'll get a look here on the 5 or the next 3-minute candle. Yeah, it's not an Apex issue, Jeremy. That's going to be a trade evade issue. So that's broker side. It does happen, unfortunately, sometimes. Now, I haven't fired out any test orders with my funded futures or Top Step X here yet. But I haven't seen any issues here. There's my frickin' plan again. So which one do we like more? I think we like this one more. Okay, again, not increasing volume there on that second bar of the day, so being pretty chill. Sounds good, man. Have yourself a great day. Fair enough, Rusty. Hopefully it doesn't impact for too long. Generally, they tend to not roll these changes out market hours right at day start, but that's the way she goes, I guess. All right, cool. Okay, so a big bounce off of 700, right? So good thing we waited. So far, so slow, right? So far, so slow. What do we expect with such a big gap down, right? Or so much pre-market selling? What do we expect? Yeah, like a day of consolidation, like a catch your breath move before something happens. So So far, that's the reality. Is this enough volume here for me to be bullish and change my 3 for 3 bias here so far? And someone was asking me, right, what does, if it has a small range, do we ever target a different level? Well, the other clue that a small range is telling us, right, is that it might be a day of consolidation, right, versus like a trend day. Right, so it does give us a lot of information as well without necessarily giving us a tradable opportunity. I gotta grab my sheets of paper, guys. One sec. Excuse me. So last week, you know how I mentioned I had like some back pain, right? Because I fell. It turns out it cracked one of my ribs. And that's been the thing that's been causing me some distress. And so it's makes it very hard to fall asleep. So, like I said, apologies for the energy here. I cannot fall asleep easily recently. Oh, I mean, of course. I mean, what am I going to do? You trade? Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite thing to do in the world, but I'm definitely a different human being when I don't get my correct sleep. And it's one of my, it's on my backside, right, which is weird. Like, I'm normally a side sleeper. And so every time I try to sleep, I sleep right on that side, and it's just like, the noises. Oh, 100% correlated. Oh, still, so far, so chill. What the fuck's wrong with me today? And yeah, no real tradable action here yet. And definitely not missed out on anything. Yeah, I don't have a recliner, Joe. Maybe, I don't really want to purchase anything, but I'll just have to go spend some time driving, get the massage and heated seats going, fall asleep at the wheel. Yeah, subtle flex for sure. Yeah, potentially, David. If it gives me a decent volume here and holds above, could be in play. It's not giving me the candle shape I need yet. $9.51. So we'll keep an eye on this. So just enough of a possible breakout there. See how this thing behaves. So for now, stop would have to be low of confirmation candle. So that would be 67, we'll call it. So first things first, right? When I'm setting up my order window, I'm filling in my stop loss as the priority, right? So stop loss would be 67. Entry I'd want under 77. And if I'm risking 10 cents, how many contracts could I buy? Five, right? 10 cents, I could buy 5 to be within 500 bucks. Okay, if this thing then breaks out, right, I think it just made a higher high. That's all good, John, all good. It's Monday, we're all slow, no worries. So now, right, we're looking at a stop of about 77, 10 cents higher. And we want to see a clear breakout over, so just did that here now. And then gentle pullback, right, into that 87 area or less. So I'm looking for an entry price, right, at 87 or under, so I can get my 5 contracts. So someone, was asking me over the weekend, why don't I share my executions? I'm telling you exactly what I'm looking for here. So if you set that up the same way, it's up to you to click submit, right, once it then happens, so you don't miss it. Okay, so there's my entry, guys. I am in at 85. Five contracts. All right, so it should always be very clear what I plan on doing, right? I'm always going to tell you what I'm doing before I enter the trade. So if you're going to be waiting for me to say that I'm in and then chasing in, right, you're always going to be late. You're always going to get a worse price. You're always going to get a worse fill, and you're going to have more risk, right, than I'm going to have on a position. And that tends to not ever be a successful long-term idea. Whereas if you wait for and make that information your own, you're going to learn a lot more about yourself as a trader, right? You're going to feel a lot more confident taking on those decisions. And yeah, it's just going to feel a lot better for you executing trades. So a little bit of a pullback here, which I don't want to see. Let's see if we can get back up and over. So price action's been a little bit stuck here, right, so far, which I don't like. But what I have in my notes here, right, is this move lower has been happening really slowly, which doesn't make me feel like my thesis has been invalidated. So let's see if it's got some oomph here. Otherwise, going to get out of this for a small loss. What was your stop loss, David? You close it manually? I just took the stop there. Why wasn't it 77? Why was it inside the previous confirmation candle? What? That's not a good excuse. Why didn't you type it manually? I don't understand that. Like, our stop loss needs to be the first thing we type in when we enter our trade. Right? It's the first thing. So everything is built out from our risk management first, not risk management second or third or whatever. All right, so everything starts with our ability to manage risk and to manage risk at the correct spot. So a little bit unlucky here potentially. Maybe we'll get a NQ reversal here off of 800. 20 seconds to go on this volume, so we'll keep an eye here. 10 seconds, let's see. Okay, not enough volume by the looks of it. Yeah, potentially if it wants to give us another opportunity, I will not complain. So I do all my charting, Mark, on TradingView. I execute via Tradeovate and TopStep and Interactive Brokers. Yeah, it's only Apex that's having issues, Mike. So a little bit unlucky here with this CL. We'll keep an eye on this. Again, we'd like to see this hold now above previous high of day, right? So above that 91. If it can't hold above 91, I'm not going to be interested. So I would say no here on CL. ES, good volume, bad candle shape. So we'll keep waiting. Okay, good decision here. So CL, right? No long opportunity here still. Pretty decent rejection, but not enough to flip our bias yet. So still being pretty patient here, team. Not a tremendous amount of reasons to be aggressive so far. Okay, so again, another possible setup here coming together, right, on CL. We need to go increasing volume relative to that 10:03 candle, or on this 5 mid candle relative to that 10 a.m. The price action, if we're looking at it, I mean, look, from all things considered, we're pretty much at the opening candle's close, right? So we've had 38 minutes here of PA so far, and we're up 10 cents, right, on the day. So we don't need to be hyper aggressive here yet still. Has no real clear indication of like a tremendous amount of trending PA, but let's see how she goes. Okay, 30 seconds to go here. Let's see if the volume wants to show up. Donnie, what do you mean by that? What are you supposed to be doing? What does that mean? We're looking to see if the market wants to give us any tradable opportunities. And once it does, we'll start talking about trades that we plan on taking. And you can either learn, follow along, paper trade those ideas, put your capital at risk, whatever you want to do. But we're waiting for a suitable opportunity here before we do anything. Okay, so again, now we have an NQ set up here to the downside. Right, rejection, second most bearish candle, under 800. So we're looking here at NQ to the downside. So first things first, right, stop 808.25. So that's the first thing I'm typing in, right? Everything else comes after that decision. And we're watching this reaction to 800 here again, right? So good rejection off of 800. And now let's see if I can get a decent pullback here to justify taking this trade. Be a one contract play. I'd say my target would be about that 93 area. Basically the confirmation candle low, right? Close. Doesn't seem to want to hit that 93. But I'm not chasing this, right? I'm not chasing this. Worst case Ontario, it gives me an entry on a different time frame, and I can look to reset. Right, not a big deal. If the trade is strong, it'll give me more than one chance to enter. I don't need to be rushing it. So still watching here, still watching. So entry target, right, is on a retest of my confirmation candle low. If I don't get it, right, then I'll maybe on this 3-minute time frame and get an increasing volume standard. Or I can get it on the next candle. What time frame are you on, David? Because that's the 3-min time frame. That's the 3-min range, right? Right now we're on the 5-min. Yeah, so we're on the 5-min right now. That's why the range is different. Again, guys, you can always see what time frame I'm on here, right? In the name of the ticker that I'm trading, it'll tell you the time frame. So all the information you ever will need is always available to you, not gatekeeping anything. So now we're looking stop loss 87. Call it 88. Same thing, right? Looking for a gentle enough pullback to justify taking on this trade. And we're looking around that 70 handle. Man, tested just for a second there. Could not get a fill. All right, guys, so I am in short 69.75. Let's see if this thing can break down here. One contract. Not a great entry right away. So a little bit prematurely there on my entry for sure. Let's see if I can get bailed out here. Yeah, you cannot trade this if you have a 10-minute market delay. You need to sign up for live market data. I don't know what else to say. Took the stop there again, guys. Hated my entry right away. Tough start. Yeah, guys, there's no trading without live market data, right? So if you're like waiting to sign up for it, I don't know what else to say. I don't know how you're supposed to learn or get better if you're 10 minutes behind. I don't know how you're supposed to be able to practice if you're 10 minutes behind, right? Also, one of those things that you can write off on your taxes as an expense for your trading. So, yeah, I don't know how else to make it more clear. It's like the first thing in the one-on-one or in the FAQ section. It has to be done, guys. I don't know what else to say. Like for those of you who are new here, right, or are checking us out for the first time or doing whatever, my objective for you all, right, is for you to see the strategy, see how we're trading, practice along, right, create that proof of concept for yourself, and then do your funding and take that next step. But you're not going to be able to do that if you're trying to save money on data fees, or you're trying to do trade with like a free version of TradingView. You're not going to be able to do any of those things. So we have to get signed up for the appropriate services here, and everything that you need to sign up for is in the FAQ section. If you're going to choose to not do those things and then ask why things look different, or why you can't place trades or do things along those lines, can't help you, right, in that situation, because it's just as simple as just signing up for the tools that you need. So we got to make sure, right, that we all are taking advantage of actually what's available to us here. And then once you're set up for everything, right, you can start to create that proof of concept. You can start to take those next steps. You can start to make the learning feel real. But I get, it's frustrating, right, to have to tell people to read the FAQs and to sign up for those services. Not enough volume. It's increasing, but not outlier. I always need outlier volume as a confirmation standard, regardless of if it's breaking out of the range or not. Breaking out from the range is just the setup. Outlier volume on a strong candle is the confirmation. Okay, so for sure, NQ behaving properly. So right now I'm on the 5-minute time frame. So I'm looking at the 5-minute volume. I'm just always looking at the first time frame, or the first time frame that gives me the same thesis as my daily plan. So right now I'm on the 5, so I'm looking at the 5-minute volume. There's no best. It's what gives it to me first. Not outlier volume here yet, right? It's increasing, but not outlier. No, not necessarily. At the first open of the day, yes, right? But once you're on a little bit later in the day, these candles close at different times, right? Not every candle closes at the same time. So we got now a new 3-min candle just opened, or just closed. So now we could look at the 3-min, right, for a possible setup, instead of waiting for a pullback here on the 5. Stop loss would be 735. Unless we get a little gentle pullback here, right into that 725 or better. Too fast here so far. Too fast. All right, so far we've avoided this, right? Because the pullback here after the fake out lower has happened far too quickly. So now we can go back to possibly looking at this on the 5-minute time frame. Stop loss 756. So that goes from being 3 minutes, right? And 2 contracts to now 5 minutes and 1 contract. So we put our stop loss at the high or low of our confirmation candle if the pullback is still confined inside that candle's range. Once we make a lower low, right, like we have here, making a higher high above that lower low would no longer be a strong bearish scenario. So we switch to the aggressive entry technique and place our stop loss at the high or low of our entry candle. Okay, back to possibly looking at the 3. But you're looking at now a 40 entry, right? And the problem with the 3-min is the range of which you're targeting is pretty close, right? So we're 25 points away from that area. So maybe a little bit challenging for us to be able to get the appropriate risk reward on this time frame. Maybe a little bit easier here on the 5. ES maybe a little bit more appealing here all of a sudden. So I'm going to watch ES here, team, instead of NQ. Stop loss would be 825. Yeah, at this point, right, this would be our next possible setup on NQ. Yes, the 10-min. Okay, ES not in play. So NQ, right, because we haven't made a lower low here yet, stop loss would be at the high of your confirmation candle, right, which is approximately 816. And you need to see a pullback within 25 points of that, right? So that would be a 796, right? Pullback or better to be able to get the sizing that you want on that play. So a lot of work to do before this is potentially tradable to the downside. Right, and so then now here on this 10-min time frame, if this thing gives me a breakdown here, right, I now need my stop loss to be approximately 780. So an entry of 724, right, to 780 as a stop means I'm risking $1,200 give or take, right, which is far too much. So would then need to either see this reset and give me a tighter risk reward, or the only other appropriate possible stop loss, right, would be on this pullback here towards high of that confirmation candle. Same thing here on ES, right? 10 points of risk. I can't really get the position sizing that I need on that trade. So I have to have the courage to be able to sit that out in the short term. So even though it's giving me the appropriate risk reward ratio, it is really not giving me the position sizing I need to be able to take this trade and feel comfortable. Now everyone understand? Could also look for CL here to the upside. Stop loss would be 98. Let's keep an eye here how it reacts to 78 here. Again, we've seen CL fake us out already here today, right? Because we had already a thesis of going long here that stopped us out before it then made this move. But what's appealing about CL, right, is that I can easily get the sizing that I want on this without having to wait 20 minutes for a pullback. So stop loss, right, would be 77.98. And I'd like to see a pullback into, 10 cents away. So like that 08 area. And it's the same on both the 10 and the 15. Well, if I don't get the volume that I want on the 3-min, then I can pass on the burden of confirmation to the 5, right? And reset my idea while still trading the same setup trigger. So it's usually a failure of confirmation, or if the move runs without me and I am unable to get an entry, I can switch to a different time frame and look to reset with either different profit targets, right? Or a different position sizing, things like that. So generally I'm looking for the first time frame that gives me easy price action. If I don't get that look on a specific time frame, I just switch to another one and reset. So I'll only switch to a different time frame if my idea on that time frame gets invalidated or is no longer realistic, right? So either I don't get confirmation or the move happens without me being able to get an entry. Okay, excuse me. So we're still watching NQ here. Right, this is within that striking distance. Now it's a pretty big pullback, right? So the size of this pullback to be able to get into our appropriate position sizing zone is definitely a little bit intimidating, right? It's moved 70 points, right, give or take, to get back into our entry zone. Which if you're a bear and you need a 70-point pullback to justify your entry, that doesn't exactly feel like bulls have failed, right? So now that we're watching this reaction here around this 800, we need some sort of indication that this is actually bulls running out of steam on this pullback and that they're going to get stuffed here again. Otherwise, right, I'm just setting myself up to deal with a painful stop loss. And as much as I love pain and suffering, I don't love it that much. I have a cracked rib. I don't need a cracked account too. CL needs to pull back about 10 cents here. So still watching that on the background, but just also watching how NQ reacts to this 800. And if we see a tremendous wall of sellers basically stepping in and defending that zone. So far, I would say we haven't. You should not be dealing with 1 minute worth of lag, Styles. Please make sure that you're live on the YouTube. If you are live, you'll have a little red dot by your, there'll be a button that says live. And that dot will be red. Any buffering that you experience will be on your end. It will delay you, and you need to make sure that that is clicked, so that it continues being up to date. From YouTube's end, the latency is approximately 3 seconds. Anything outside of that is on your end. Okay, so we're back to watching CL here. Okay, so NQ, right? Good decision. It has absolutely blasted through that potential stop loss zone. So now we can look at this potentially here on the 5 min. And we'd be targeting 78.50, right? Which is our first written out level. And we need to see it make a higher high first, right? And then pull back under 23. Okay, and Q back in business also on the 3 min time frame. So we'll focus on both of these here. This candle needs to close red though. Doesn't look like it will. So we'll come back to that in 3 minutes. Okay, CL, we could look for a possible stop loss at 78.04. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on any broker end issues, Oz. I just have no control over that. So I simply just have no edge that I can help you guys with there. In my experience, if there's broker issues, just wait it out until you get the email from them saying it's all clear. That's personally what I would do. Okay, so still watching CL here. 78.04 would be the stop loss for now. Okay, so still watching here, right? I would like to get an entry under 14, around 10 if I can. So a little inside bar does not kill me here. Excuse me. Okay, so watching here again, right? And this candle, right, this 1035 candle remains my confirmation. This inside bar is not my confirmation. All right, that inside bar just doesn't invalidate me. So again, watching this reaction as we pull up towards that 10-cent barrier. If I miss it, I miss it. No worries. I honestly don't care. And the reason why I'm willing to be patient here is because I've seen price action fake me out already here today, right? So base assumption is that markets are going to behave like they always have until you get a proven otherwise. So I don't need to be hyper aggressive, right? Trying to catch a move to make back my P&L hit or whatever it might be. And then just keep repeating, right, or falling for the same tricks that price action keeps giving me. So that's why I'm willing to be patient here, why I was waiting for that 10 to test. And I'm still not in this position because I don't think I've seen a very strong defense here yet from bulls. But that's why I'm willing to be patient, right? Because the evidence I have here so far today is it's a shake you out and then make the move type bit of PA. So I either need to see that happen or I need to see something that is then contrary, right, to that previous evidence. Just hasn't happened yet. And for sure, there would have been moments where it felt like I should have jumped in. But those would have been bad, impulsive feelings. Everyone get that? Okay, better defense here. And then if now this breaks out on increasing volume, right, we just reset. Stop loss 27 or whatever it might be, and we try again, right? No, that's fine, Eric. I mean, I'm not going to say you got lucky. Right? If you want to get better at studying your entries, track what was your entry versus best entry versus worst entry, and train your gut, right? So your entry looks fine. But use the trade checklist, right? And okay, what was my entry price? What was the best entry? Did my entry feel correct? And create that evidence for yourself, right? So that you actually are learning. That's the only way you're going to do it. Yeah, 3 mins in play. 5 minute just close. I'm going to focus on this first. And we're looking for a stop loss now around 34, right? Maybe a little bit lower. Let's see. No, it would be 34. Now, again, that's a very tight stop loss, right? So I want to be a little bit patient. 3 cents of risk. Pretty tight. So I'm going to wait, right? See if it wants to fake out lower first here. Find some support. Again, I'd rather be too patient, too paranoid, too whatever than too aggressive. There's very little alpha in chasing. Okay, there's that lower low. Let's see if it finds support here now. I can go 32 as a stop loss. Again, let's see if that support holds. The move higher and the move lower are happening at about the same intensity. Now higher, faster. So a gentle pullback into 37 gives me an entry opportunity. And it's the same stop loss here on the 3 min. It's got to pull back at least 3 cents here. Now 4 cents. Too fast. not sure if I really understand your question, David. Anywhere between this green line and this red line to this white line, I'm getting about 3.5 risk reward to 1. There's going to be times where you get follow through towards your profit target, times where you don't. But I'm looking to have the justification of taking on the risk, right? So if I'm targeting a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio and my win rate's 50%, my base expectation is that I just break even, right? Or I may remain stuck. So I'm trying to basically justify or have the math in my favor. Doesn't mean that every trade's going to run towards that white line, but I won't take trades with a 1-to-1 risk reward. There's a video that explains that. It's called Finding Your Formula for Success. I would recommend rewatching that or watching that if you haven't already. Okay, so now looking at NQ here to the downside, mean reversion type setup. Here's your setup candle, right? This 1048. Here's your confirmation candle and increasing outlier volume. And we're looking for a breakdown here towards low of day. Stop loss for now would be 828.25. But let's see where this finds support here again. Okay, so stop would be 831. Still no reason to have jumped in here yet, right? Still no reason to have jumped in. Even on CL, right? On this now move higher, it would have stopped us out at 32 and then broken out. So objectively, right, I have just missed out on trades that would have gone in my favor, like thesis-wise, but entry timing-wise, I would have been wrong. So, yeah, very limited justification to feel like I need to rush anything here so far, right? And we're just being patient. So now stop loss would be 838 on NQ. Now let's see if we can get an entry here. Gonna be a one contract play as is. And we're targeting low of day here. Yeah, I'm not looking at CL right now, David, so I'm going to have to answer that question later. Right now, I'm looking at NQ, so I'm going to not answer that at the moment. I can't afford to. Guys, so I am in 8/16/25, one contract. And that 850, right? That 850 profit target, 78.50, David, was a pre-market level we mapped out. Right? It's what we spent 9 to 9:30 doing, was mapping out those levels. So that's where that came from. So far, okay here on this. Would like to see it separate under 800. And if you missed on my initial entry, guys, it did retest, right, that price multiple times. So now let's see if it can flush under 8. Give me a big move here, and we can maybe start to think about pyramiding or building into this position. If it can't hold under 800, I'm going to look to just close and take the $300 win. Now, the thing that's probably giving me just a little bit of pause on this is there's not a tremendous amount of volume associated with this move here yet. But let's see. It's reacting well, but the volume's probably a little bit lighter than I would have anticipated for sure. Man, it is snowing so hard outside. Oh my God. Just look over and get depressed. So 20 seconds, has to hold 800. Psychological level, right? If we can't break down and hold this psych level, then I'm anticipating buyers to have stepped in and defended that zone. So far it has. Then look at that amount of buyers that defended. Yeah, that's what a psychological level is. That defense of 800 kind of freaking blew. With the low volume as well. Come on. Again, if it can flush through here, then we're going to be okay. So far, so okay. Make me a lower low here, baby. Treat me nice. Ooh. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, guys, I'm out. I have closed this trade. I will look to either reset. That didn't feel, doesn't feel like a good, healthy move here yet. So close that at 810. I just hate the low volume. So we can always try again here, right? If this thing sets back up, we can try again, but it's not giving me the correct reaction that I wanted at that 800 zone. So I'm not going to hold on and hope I get lucky. I'd rather get out and reset than get impartial again than to hope I get paid out, right? So if it gives me an increasing volume breakdown and hold under 800, I can look to reset, play this thesis again, and I'll have confirmation that my idea was correct. But the fact that we keep bouncing 10, 15 points off of 800 and then only 5 or 6 points lower does not make me feel as if 800 is now acting as support for a downside thesis, right? It's more acting as support for a pullback type trade instead of it being a breakdown type scenario. So the bounces off of 800, right, were bigger than the bounces under it. Yeah, I just explained, right? It needs to hold on increasing outlier volume under that 800 for me to reset my thesis. Right? All that tells me, it doesn't tell me that my direction was wrong necessarily. It tells me that my timing on my entry was wrong, right? So instead of getting emotionally attached to that idea, I can just reset and try again. So, okay, quick 120 bucks. And we can try again. I do not care that it's at 87 here now, right? Doesn't matter. So if this trade is strong, it'll give me multiple chances to enter. I don't need to chase or feel like XYZ, right? If a trade isn't behaving the way that I want, isn't showing me that increasing volume, isn't holding through those intra levels of support or resistance, then the outcome that happens after it is random and no longer an outcome that matches and follows my rules. So if I need to get the dopamine release of being randomly correct, then I'm no longer trading, right? I'm going from being a trader to being a gambler, or to basically playing the roulette wheel. And that's fine, right? That's fun, but it's not long-term profitable. So if I can't ignore the possible red flags, I'm going to get crushed on trades that then go against me, because I'm going to have this level of hopium, right, that I maybe wouldn't have previously. So, okay, we can look to jump back in here, potentially. Stop loss 772. And let's see if this thing can behave nicely. Okay. Okay, guys, I am looking for an entry here. If I can get a decent little pullback, maybe moving a bit too fast. That's a decent rejection. So a next little breakdown here, gentle pullback. I want to jump in. So I'm in 62.75, 62.75. Oh, right away to 65. Come on, get under. I have two contracts here. A little bit too fast, maybe. Bit prematurely, maybe. Ooh, come on, come on. Okay, I took the stop. Can always try this again here. Reset, stop loss of 77. Nope, too fast. Now 80. Okay, doji, right? Not a great candle. Just wait it out. Oof. Problem with the 5-min versus the 3-min is at least on this 3-min here, right? The start of this move happened on increasing outlier volume. So separation away from the range on increasing volume's fine. On the 5-min, I don't have that same level of confirmation. So I'm just a tad bit more stuck. So possibly looking at an 84 stop loss here now. Maybe tighter. And this is possibly starting to bear flag a little bit here. All right, so if I just undraw this for a sec, right? Be something like that. $774.50. Still no. Okay. So now you're looking for a pullback into 57.25 or above. And a gentle pullback here. Missed the button. Tried to click submit and I missed. So I'm going to reset, right? Wait. See if I can get a better price. It's hard to execute trades on 3 screens. It was a good decision to have canceled that order. So let's see if she's got the legs here now. Otherwise, again, we're starting to maybe get some evidence that this thing is running out of juice. I might just have to accept the red day for what it is. So again, I would still say this bear flag is still in play, but it's not tremendously enthusiastic here. So let's see if this thing's got some juice. We're close. We need to see it break down. Probably under 50 now. I mean, he keeps getting rejected at 80, but then 10 points, not really a gigantic move. Okay, it's on increasing volume, so again, we can reset here potentially. Okay, so stop at 64.50. We'll call that 65. Again, right? Just be patient and gentle. We've seen price action want to fake out like a lunatic here today. Just wants to see the world burn. So don't overestimate, right, the feeling that it's the right entry timing. Okay, good stuff there. So still looking at that 65. There's the classic bear flag setups. We want to see it break down here under these lows. There's that fake out, right? See after that fake out, all of a sudden price action starts moving a lot more aggressively. Kind of tells us, right, that they're waiting to trap and then it makes its move. It's pretty fascinating. Guys still with me here? Okay. Come on, gentle pull back here. 52 or above, right? Pull back. Okay, guys, I am in 52.25, right on the dot. One contract. Oh, this motherfucker. Maybe against a little bit freaking early here. Fuck me. Took the stop. Minus 240. That's cruel. There's a Monday morning ass whooping here. Yeah, fair play, Bert. Last Monday was tough too, which is funny. And right back to entry price. That's so mean. One of those days. Okay, I mean, we're back in business here potentially. Yeah, no worries, David. We still got some hope here. All things considered, still within one trade of being green here on the day. So, annoyed, but in play. Just find myself getting a little bit frustrated with the fake outs. Just a little bit. Time here, 11:27. It's not going to stick around for too much longer. Have to be a 780 stop loss. Again, still watching here. A little inside bar. We've seen this get stopped like 765-ish a couple times. That would be the starting point. Okay, missed the fill, so cancel my order. Try again. A little inside bar again, right? Doesn't kill me. So you're going to look for a aggressive breakdown here in a second. It's still that same pullback thesis. Okay, we're looking for a breakdown now. Okay, retest right on the trend line. So 765. Can't go too much higher here. And probably too much of a pullback here. $11.32. Time's my first one-on-one today. I think this is a walk away moment here, team. Any other questions? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And didn't take any losses, right, that were outside my max number. Relatively in control here. So, look, it's part of the game, right? We're all going to lose. We're all going to lose more than we think we're going to lose. And just not losing our heads or losing our cool or allowing ourselves to make dumb decisions when we do sets us up to win again tomorrow, right? So I've said it before and I will say it again. It is fundamentally the best loser that wins, not the person that wants to win the most. Right? And we started off the day talking about second order thinking, right? Well, the immediate instinct here, right, on a losing trade is, oh, I don't want to get rid of this because what if this goes green, or what if this makes me money, or what if this, or what if that, right? But the second order of thinking is understanding that, hey, if I cut this loss at $300 or $200 or $100, then tomorrow or the next day or the day after that, it is so much easier for me to be profitable because all I need is to make back a couple $100, right? So just understanding and embracing that mindset honestly is potentially life-changing for a vast majority of people. And yeah, I probably could have made some money scalping away here, doing stuff like that. That's not really my edge, right? And I don't need to trick myself into thinking it is. All right, guys, final call for questions here. Final call for questions. I don't know what VPOC is. What is that? What's that acronym stand for? It's not personally a strategy that I use, but there's no strategy that's perfect, right? So what you have to understand that it's your risk management, your risk reward ratio, closing your losers early, closing your winners as your P&L is increasing. That allows you to have a very whatever you want, right, as the setup trigger. So nothing is an absolute here in trading. Nothing works 100% of the time. So any setup trigger can make you money if you manage risk, filter out for disproportionate risk reward ratios, and rely on facts, not feelings, right? We talked about this a little bit here in relatively brief detail this morning. But someone was asking me about risk reward ratios, right? So the idea here is if my win rate on the year is, say, 60%, and I'm taking trades where I'm getting 3-to-1 risk reward, well, all I need there, right, is to be green on 33% of my decisions to be profitable. So I have a tremendous amount of margin for error to be able to execute that strategy and have a lot of leeway, right, with my decisions. So the idea there, right, is to understand how well does that volume point of control or whatever setup trigger you want to do, how well can I actually execute that? And how can I basically filter out the setups that don't match my criteria, so I can give myself some margin for error with my decisions. So I would think about it from that perspective. The setup trigger is a very, very small part of what actually makes you a profitable trader. It's understanding all the other variables and how they work in conjunction with your setup trigger that ultimately makes you profitable. All right, guys. Any other questions here? Yes, no, maybe. All right, well, if no further questions, I'm going to kill the stream here for the day. Same deal like always. If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, looking forward to trading with you guys all again tomorrow here, which will hopefully be a better and smoother session. Hopefully we can find some momentum then. So have yourselves a great rest of the afternoon. And for those of you who have got one-on-one here later today, looking forward to catching up with you then. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So have yourself a great one. We'll talk soon.